Let's get started with our first news story. Jack Della Maddalena is confident he can finish Belal Muhammad. Jack has always believed he could beat Belal even before this upcoming fight weekend. He says he's confident he can stop Belal's takedowns and finish him before the final bell to become the new UFC welterweight champion. Jack spoke about his excitement and confidence heading into this high-stakes bout, making it clear that he views this fight not just as a title shot, but as a personal mission. Yeah, super excited. It seems pretty similar to a normal fight week. Obviously, there's a lot on the line, but yeah, I'm feeling good. I feel like a better martial artist than last time. So I'm excited to go out there and put it on the line. While the spotlight is on the UFC welterweight title, Jack emphasized that beating Belal has always been the primary target in his mind. I've just been trying to treat it as just another fight. I've always thought I could beat Belal. Obviously, the title is on the line, but beating Belal is my goal, and the title will come after that. It seems much the same as a usual fight week. When it comes to Belal Muhammad's skill set, Jack was respectful but clear in his breakdown. He's obviously a good fighter. He's got a strong resume, beat some good guys. He comes forward, puts the pressure on, shoots takedowns. He doesn't stop until the final bell. We know what we're in for, but I believe I have the skills to take him out. Jack's game plan appears to be built around aggression and control. He doesn't want to let Belal dictate the pace of the fight and is prepared to meet him head-on, trying not to be too calm. Obviously, he'll be coming forward. So I want to meet him there, meet fire with fire, and try to take him out before the final bell. He understands Belal's pressure, heavy style, but he's not intimidated by it. In fact, he's planning to flip the script by inflicting damage and forcing Belal to rethink his approach. I expect him to come forward, but I think I'll be able to handle it. He's going to have to walk through the fire to try and take me down. I think I can do some serious damage. I think I can sting him. I believe I can finish him before the final bell. Final bell. With Jack's confidence, tactical mindset, and hunger to prove himself, this weekend's matchup is shaping up to be an intense showdown. The stakes are higher than ever, and if Jack delivers on his words, we might just see a new welterweight champion rise to the top. Moving on to our second news, Joe Rogan has made headlines once again by declaring that BJ Penn is still the greatest lightweight of all time, even ranking him above Khabib Nurmagomedov. This statement may seem surprising to newer fans, especially considering BJ Penn's record towards the end of his career. He lost 9 out of his last 11 UFC fights, with one of them being a draw. But according to Joe, records don't always tell the full story. He argues that in his prime, BJ Penn was unstoppable, a once-in-a-generation talent with unmatched skill and cardio. Joe explained that BJ's physical conditioning during his peak years was unlike anything seen in MMA. When BJ was in his prime training with Marv Marino, the training methods were unorthodox. All plyometrics, explosive, drills, sprints, box, jumps, all this crazy stuff. I hope I'm not misquoting him, but he believed fight training was secondary when in camp. What really mattered was an insane gas tank. Joe emphasized that BJ's stamina and endurance gave him a massive advantage in the cage, allowing him to push through tough rounds and break his opponents down. What really stood out, according to Joe, was not just BJ's conditioning, but his raw, natural fighting instinct. BJ Penn knows how to fight. He's a world champion, and that doesn't just go away. But when you train him this way and build that kind of cardio, he becomes unstoppable. I always say this. People talk about Khabib being the greatest lightweight of all time, and maybe he is. It's very possible, but I would put the BJ that fought Joe Daddy Stevenson, the BJ that fought Sean Shirk, that BJ Penn, I'd put him against anybody. Joe highlighted the Diego Sanchez fight as a prime example of BJ's dominance. When he fought Diego Sanchez, he couldn't be stopped. And if you got him to the ground, his submission game was insane. Off his back or in top position, He was a threat from every angle. Back, he would take your back. You were done. He could knock you out standing. His kickboxing was elite. BJ's complete game from elite, striking to dangerous submissions, made him a nightmare matchup for anyone. When comparing BJ to Khabib, Joe acknowledged that Khabib would likely try to take him down similar to what Georges St-Pierre did. He'd take him down for sure, probably fight him the same way Georges St-Pierre did. But the size difference between BJ and George was huge. BJ is a true 155 guy, and later even fought at 145. George was a big 170. Muscular, powerful, excellent wrestling ground, and pound black belt in jiu-jitsu. And a great striker. Joe even touched on the controversy surrounding BJ's fight with GSP, referencing greasing accusations. George was slippery in that fight. If you're a grappler and you can't get a hold of someone, especially someone like BJ, who is dangerous off his back, it changes everything. Finally, Joe praised BJ's rare body mechanics and flexibility. BJ's legs were like arms. He could sit, not use his hands at all, and still put his feet into the lotus position. That's how flexible and dangerous he was. If you got caught in his guard, you were screwed. Despite the rough end to his career, Joe Rogan believes that prime BJ Penn remains the most dangerous lightweight to ever step foot in the octagon. Let's move on to another major update in the middleweight division. Robert Whittaker has expressed strong interest in fighting Sean Strickland this July. The former middleweight champion is eager to return to the octagon and believes a showdown with Strickland is the perfect matchup to get him back in title contention. After some time away from the cage, Rob seems highly motivated and ready to make another run toward the UFC middleweight title. In a recent interview with Main Event TV, Whittaker revealed that he's been actively communicating with the UFC matchmakers since the beginning of the year. I've been in conversations with the UFC since the start of the year, trying to pick a date. I wanted late June. The UFC is really fluid right now. Cards are being pushed. Fights are getting moved. Honestly, they just wanted to find a spot that made sense for everyone. Haven't locked me in for anything yet. These remarks suggest that while Whittaker has been ready and willing to step into the cage, the constantly changing nature of the UFC's scheduling has caused delays. Fight cards have shifted. Opponents have moved around, and the promotion seems to be juggling multiple events at once. Something that's not unusual, especially with a packed summer calendar. Rob admitted that late June might no longer be a realistic target, even though that was his original goal. I think the end of June is a bit too soon now. They threw names at me and I said yes to every single one I wanted to fight. Sean Strickland because it made sense. I'm on the path back to the title. Most likely, we're looking at July. What stands out is Whittaker's willingness to accept any challenge. According to him, the UFC presented multiple potential opponents, and he agreed to fight every single one. But he specifically mentioned Sean Strickland as a logical opponent, and it certainly makes sense. Strickland is a former champion coming off high-profile performances, and still ranked among the elite at 185 lbs. A win over someone like Strickland would immediately put Whittaker back in the top tier of title contenders. From a stylistic perspective, the fight would be very compelling. Whittaker is known for his explosive striking, sharp footwork, and ability to adapt inside the octagon. Meanwhile, Strickland brings relentless pressure, high-volume boxing, and incredible durability. Both fighters have faced the best in the world and have proven themselves time and again. A bout between them would not only be a fan favorite, but also have major implications for the future of the middleweight division. If this fight does happen in July, it could serve as a #1 contender eliminator, especially considering the current title picture with Dricus at the top. Whether Whittaker can secure this matchup remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: he's ready, hungry, and laser-focused on getting back to the top of the mountain. Now let's move on to some controversy surrounding the current light heavyweight champion, Alex Pereira. Things got heated on social media after a bizarre and emotional post appeared on his official X, formerly Twitter account, raising eyebrows across the MMA world. The message claimed Alex was unhappy with the UFC and even considering retirement. The post read, "I always answered the UFC's calls, but if they want to play with me, we can do that. I've never spoken poorly of the UFC, but what I just heard left me disheartened. I've had thoughts of not fighting anymore, and after what I heard, this might be the start." This statement shocked fans and fighters alike, coming from someone like Pereira, who's known for his calm, stoic demeanor and warrior mindset. The emotional tone felt out of character. The idea that one of the most dangerous strikers in the sport might walk away from fighting altogether left the community buzzing. But just as quickly as the post appeared, Alex claimed he was hacked. He followed up by denying he wrote the message, insisting it was not him and asking fans not to read too much into it. Then things got even more chaotic when Magomed Ankalaev, one of the top contenders at light heavyweight, jumped into the conversation. He mocked Alex and jokingly took responsibility, saying, "It was me, I hacked his account. Don't worry, Alex, I'm waiting for you." He followed up with another jab. "The only thing that was hacked is Alex's brain. He's not a champion anymore. I'm waiting for you." Uncle's comments added fuel to the fire, turning the incident into a full-blown internet spectacle. However, many in the MMA community aren't buying the hacking excuse. One top comment on X mocked the situation, saying, "So, a hacker broke into Alex's Twitter, posted one tweet about being frustrated, and then logged out peacefully." Another sarcastic response read, "The person who hacked Alex's account is now staring at himself in the mirror. Anyone who actually believes bro was hacked is on the spectrum." It seems the general consensus among fans and media is that the post was real, and Alex may have had a genuine moment of frustration that he later tried to walk back. Alex may have had a moment of frustration, posted the message himself, and then quickly backtracked, possibly after a phone call from the UFC. The timing and tone of the message feel personal, not random or the work of a hacker. Many are even comparing this to when Dustin Poirier tweeted that his fight with Benoit Saint-Denis was off, only to walk it back later. These heat-of-the-moment posts followed by quick retractions are starting to feel like a pattern in MMA. So what do you think? Was this really a hack or just a raw moment of emotion that Alex tried to erase once things calmed down? Whatever the truth is, one thing's certain. The drama has added even more intensity to the light heavyweight division. Let's move on to our next piece of news. And this one is heating up fast. Magomed Ankalaev has once again reacted to the ongoing Alex Pereira situation, and it looks like he's not letting it go anytime soon. After Alex's now deleted post on X hinted at frustration with the UFC, and even thoughts of retirement, Ankalaev wasted no time in making his voice heard. Last night, Magomed responded in classic trolling fashion, writing, "It was me, I hacked his account. Don't worry, Alex, I'm waiting for you." At first, fans weren't sure if Ankalaev was just joking or trying to stir the pot, but by this morning it became very clear he's serious. He followed up his initial jab with a much more intense statement, saying the only thing that was hacked was Alex's brain. He's not a champion anymore, I'm waiting for you. This bold call-out immediately caught fire across social media. Fans flooded comment sections with reactions ranging from laughter to full support for a potential title fight between Pereira and Ankalaev. And while Alex has claimed that his controversial tweet about the UFC was the result of a hack, Ankalaev clearly doesn't believe it, and neither do a large portion of MMA fans. His statement about Alex's brain being the only thing hacked adds another layer of psychological warfare to what's quickly becoming a personal rivalry. Context: Magomed Ankalaev has been knocking on the door of a title shot for quite some time. Known for his calculated striking, elite grappling, and calm composure inside the octagon, he's often been described as one of the most dangerous men in the light heavyweight division. However, his journey has been filled with delays and controversy. including a draw against Jan Blachowicz that left the title picture in chaos for months. Now with Pereira sitting at the top as the light heavyweight champion. Ankalaev sees an opening and he's pressing the gas pedal. These comments, whether meant to mock or provoke, are clearly designed to push Alex toward accepting a fight. And if Alex really did post that message out of frustration, then Ankalaev's verbal jabs are like salt in the wound. Some fans believe Ankalaev is doing exactly what a hungry contender should do: create noise, call out the champ, and make headlines. Others think he may be pushing a little too hard, especially since Pereira has only recently won the belt and has already defended it impressively. Still, there's no denying the energy behind this developing storyline. Whether or not the UFC books